up, winners? The Oprah interview. On this channel, we learn to see through manipulation, have fun doing it. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notifications. I really appreciate you all watching. This is some hilarious lying from Meghan. It's the classic. They tried to wipe it from the internet.
And it's so different because I didn't romanticize any element of it, but I think as Americans especially, what do you know about the royals? It's what you read in fairy tales.
Right.
You think is what...
That's such BS. We've seen her pretending to be a princess. There's the picture of her when she's like 17 in front of Buckingham Palace. It was her goal.
You know about the royals, right? So it's easy to have an image of it that is so far from reality. And that's what was really tricky over those past few years is...
That's just how the video is, but I could talk when it's doing that. It's not buffering. It's uploaded that way. But Meghan goes too over the top with her lying, right? Like,
when the perception and the reality are two very different things, and you're being judged on the perception, but you're living the reality of it. There's a complete...
What the heck does that mean? What the blankety blank blank blank? That's like, literally think of the words she just said. It makes zero sense.
Misalignment, and there's no way to explain that to people.
Well, you know, in every family, I think things get serious when you are brought in to meet the mother or the grandmother. And in everybody's family who's watching right now, you know, the grandmother is the matriarch, and known in many families as the queen. And
she was one of the first people I met. I met her.
In your situation, it's the queen,
the real queen,
that you're meeting. And what was that like? Were you worried about
she was really amazing.
Making the right impression?
There wasn't actually a huge formality the first time I met Her Majesty the Queen. We were going to lunch at Royal Lodge, which is where some other members of the family live, specifically Andrew and Fergie, and Eugenie and Beatrice would spend a lot of time there. And Eugenie and I had known each other before I had known Harry.
Okay. You didn't know who Harry was, who the royals were. You knew nothing about Harry. You just knew Eugenie. Okay. And you knew nothing else. You'd never heard of Harry, but you knew Eugenie. It's so ridiculous, her lies. Like, it's the audacity. Like, it's like if she was like, I'm a vegetarian and she was eating a steak in front of you. And like, no, I've never had meat before. She's so audacious in her lies. Notice also she conveys so little information. You notice I was falling asleep a little bit. She's like, oh, I was meeting the queen, and then she's gonna ramble about lunch. She just likes to talk. So little information is conveyed when she talks. Like, it's just talking in circles and circles. Also, I'm a little suspicious about Eugenie. Right? Apparently, she's still in touch with her. Was she setting up this whole thing? Meghan's bag of prints, was she involved?
So that was comfortable, and we were friends with them as a couple. And then it turned out the Queen was finishing a church service there in Windsor, and so she was going to be at the house. And I remember Harry and I are in the car, and he says, okay, well, my grandmother's there, so you're going to meet her. Oh, great. I loved my grandmother. I used to take care of my grandmother. This is great. He goes, right, do you know how to curtsy? What? So do you know how to...
Oh my gosh, you had to learn to curtsy. Oh my gosh, poor Meghan. Poor Meghan. She said, do you know how to curtsy? He said, do you know how to curtsy? Oh my gosh, that is so hard. What? And look at the expression on her face. Like, that's like a, what? I can't believe it. Like, she has that little smile. Like, what are you doing? Like, she's like, how can you be so audacious to say I have to do something? How hard is it to learn to curtsy? I would Google that in like 2 seconds. Like, Google, hey, how do you curtsy? Just do it. It's not that hard. Like, it's so absolutely ridiculous, insane. Also, yeah, she took care of her grandmother. I'm sure her grandmother was like wasting away under a bridge or something like that, seeing how she treats her father.
Curtsy.
See, look at the expression on her face. She's like, curtsy. Like, it's actually a good moment. It's paused. She's like, curtsy. That is disdain. That is...
Now, I thought genuinely that was what happens outside.
Yeah.
I thought that was part of the fanfare. Or, I didn't think that's what happens inside. And I said, but it's your grandmother. He goes, it's the Queen.
Wow.
And that was...
Meghan doesn't like anyone to have any kind of status, right? She has to be #1 at all times. And this is actually giving us a really big insight to everything that happened. Like, I don't curtsy for anybody. I'm the best. Like, what's the big deal about it? Just do a freaking curtsy. You know, and also it shows her mentality. I thought that was the outside. She views everything as image, like through the PR lens, not through what people really do, the actual values. Thank you, everybody. Subscribe.